Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. Tonight we're diving into the dark side of amusement parks, the real-life accidents that change the industry forever. We all love the thrill of a roller coaster, but sometimes things go terribly wrong. These stories are all true and they'll make you think twice about the rides we take for granted. Some are shocking, some are tragic, but all are important reminders about safety. So buckle up. This is going to be a wild ride. Let's get started. First up, the infamous Action Park in New Jersey, better known as Traction Park. This place was notorious for its wild, barely regulated rides and a culture that seemed to embrace chaos. The Alpine slide sent riders down a concrete track on plastic sleds, often resulting in friction burns, Action Park tattoos, as they called them. The Cannonball Loop was a water slide with a full vertical loop. People got stuck, injured, and the state shut it down after just a month. The tidal wave pool, nicknamed the Grave Pool, was so dangerous that lifeguards rescued dozens every weekend. Injuries were constant: broken bones, concussions, even electrocutions from faulty rides. Tragically, several people died drownings, a fatal head injury, and more. The park's rides were often designed by people with little engineering experience. Undertrained teenage staff ran the rides and management was notorious for fighting injury claims in court. Action Park's disregard for safety became legendary. Lawsuits and rising insurance costs finally forced it to close in 1996. It later reopened under new management, but the original park remains a cautionary tale. Action Park is the ultimate example of what happens when thrill overtakes safety. Its legacy, a benchmark for what not to do in the amusement park world. The stories from Action Park are almost unbelievable, but every one of them is true. It's a wild chapter in amusement park history. The park's legend lives on, reminding us why safety matters. Would you have dared to ride there? For many, the answer was yes, until it was too late. Action Park, where danger was part of the attraction. It's a story that still shocks the industry, and it's one we can all learn from. The park's legacy is a warning. Never take safety for granted. That's the legend of Action Park. Let's move on. Next up, a modern disaster. Now let's head to the UK. Alton Towers and the infamous Smiler crash. The Smiler boasted a world record 14 loops, but in 2015, disaster struck. On a windy day, a test train stalled on the track. Safety systems should have stopped another train from entering that section, but staff, thinking it was a glitch, overrode the system and sent a full train down the track. 16 passengers, unaware, sped toward a stationary train. The collision was brutal. Front cars crushed, riders trapped and seriously injured. 2 young women lost their legs, others suffered broken bones and trauma. The rescue took hours, with emergency crews working high above the ground. The investigation found human error and pressure to keep the ride running led to the override. Merlin Entertainments, the park's owner, was fined millions for safety breaches. The crash was a wake-up call for the entire industry. It forced new rules on overriding safety systems and improved staff training. The Smiler reopened with stricter protocols, but the scars remain for the victims. Even the most advanced rides are vulnerable to human mistakes. The Smiler story is a sobering reminder. Safety systems exist for a reason. One bad decision can change lives forever. The industry learned, but at a terrible cost. The Smiler's crash is a lesson in vigilance. Never underestimate the importance of following protocol. For the victims, the impact will last a lifetime. For the rest of us, it's a reason to pay attention. The Smiler's smile faded that day, and the industry took notice. Let's keep going. Next, a terrifying drop tower accident. This one's in the US, brace yourself. Louisville, Kentucky, Six Flags Kentucky Kingdom, 2007. The Superman Tower of Power was a drop tower ride using cables to launch and drop riders at extreme speeds. On June 21st, a cable snapped mid-ride, whipping around the carriage. 13-year-old Caitlin Lassiter was struck, the cable wrapping around her neck and legs. The ride stopped, but the damage was done, her feet were severed. Doctors reattached one foot, but the other was lost. The investigation revealed the park used the wrong type of cable, ignoring manufacturer recommendations. The substitute cable was prone to fraying, leading to catastrophic failure. Six Flags shut down similar rides nationwide for inspection. The Superman ride never reopened. Caitlin's story is a powerful warning about the dangers of cutting corners on maintenance. One small decision can have life-altering consequences. The accident forced parks to rethink safety and maintenance protocols. It's a reminder, every part matters. For Caitlin, recovery was long and difficult, but her resilience inspired many. The lesson: never compromise on safety. The cost is simply too high. Superman fell that day, and so did the illusion of invincibility. Let's move on to Australia, and a tragedy on a family ride. This one shocked a nation. Stay with us. Here's what happened at Dreamworld. Dreamworld Australia, 2016. The Thunder River Rapids Ride. A family water ride, considered safe for all ages. On October 25th, a raft collided with a stranded raft at the conveyor belt, flipped, and threw passengers into the ride's machinery. 2 children survived, but 4 adults were killed instantly. The tragedy unfolded in front of horrified families. Investigators found a history of malfunctions and ignored safety warnings. Operators weren't properly trained, and emergency stop procedures failed. Maintenance was poor, and staff concerns were dismissed. The coroner's report was scathing. Dreamworld's safety culture was rudimentary at best. The park's parent company was fined millions. The ride was demolished and Dreamworld overhauled its safety systems. The incident left a permanent scar on the park and the country. Even gentle rides can become deadly without rigorous safety. The lesson: never get complacent. Every ride, every day, must be checked and maintained. The cost of failure is unthinkable. Dreamworld's tragedy is a warning to parks everywhere. Safety must always come first. Let's head to Disneyland Paris for our next story. Even the happiest place on Earth isn't immune. Disneyland Paris, 2011. Big Thunder Mountain. A piece of scenery broke loose and fell onto a passing train, injuring 5 people. 1 man suffered critical head injuries. The ride was shut down for over a month, as Disney inspected every prop and structure in the park. The investigation found a failed fiberglass component allowed a heavy wooden prop to fall. It raised serious questions about maintenance of themed elements, not just the rides themselves. This wasn't the first Thunder Mountain tragedy. California's version saw a fatal derailment in 2003 due to improper maintenance. Disney's reputation for safety took a hit, but the incidents forced even stricter standards. The lesson: safety isn't just about the ride, it's about everything around it. Immersive worlds are built from real materials that can fail. Even at Disney, vigilance is essential. These incidents remind us, every detail matters. Theming and props must be as safe as the rides. Disneyland Paris learned the hard way. The industry took note. Let's look at a state fair disaster next. Traveling rides have their own risks. Here's what happened in Ohio. Ohio State Fair 2017. The Fireball Ride. A pendulum ride, swinging and spinning at high speed. On opening day, a row of seats snapped off mid-swing, sending riders flying. 18-year-old Tyler Jarrell was killed. 7 others were seriously injured. The ride had passed inspection just hours before. Investigators found hidden corrosion inside the steel arm. Rust had thinned the metal to the thickness of a credit card. The flaw was invisible from the outside. The manufacturer ordered all similar rides worldwide to shut down. The tragedy forced new regulations and inspection protocols for traveling rides. Visual checks weren't enough. Hidden dangers lurked inside. The accident sparked a national conversation about carnival ride safety. Tyler's family and others filed lawsuits demanding accountability. The lesson: constant, thorough inspections are critical, especially for rides exposed to the elements. The fair's worst accident became a turning point. Safety standards changed, but the loss remains. Traveling rides face unique challenges. The Fireball disaster is a warning to never take shortcuts. Now, our final story, Japan's Expoland. Expoland, Osaka, Japan, 2007. The Fujin Raijin 2 roller coaster. A stand-up coaster, popular for decades. On Children's Day, a car derailed at high speed, killing 19-year-old Yoshino Kogawara and injuring nearly 20 others. The cause? Axles hadn't been replaced in 15 years, despite clear maintenance guidelines. Metal fatigue caused the axle to snap. Investigators found Expoland had falsified safety documents and skipped required inspections. The public lost trust, the park closed and never recovered. Expoland's collapse is a stark warning. Neglecting safety can destroy lives and entire businesses. The rides were dismantled, and a shopping mall now stands where the park once was. The lesson: maintenance is non-negotiable. Falsifying records and cutting corners leads to disaster. Expoland's story is a final, tragic reminder. Safety is the foundation of every park. Without it, everything falls apart. These stories are more than headlines, they're lessons. Let's wrap up. Here's what we can all take away: the ride home. These stories are sobering, but they're also important. Millions ride safely every year thanks to dedicated engineers and operators. But these tragedies remind us, never take safety for granted. Listen to instructions, trust your instincts, and stay alert. Parks must do their part, and so must we. Thanks for watching. Share your thoughts and stories in the comments. Stay safe out there. See you next time.